Hello and welcome. To conclude this course, I would like, with this very short conclusion, to address two important topics that are fears and ethics. What we don't understand scares us. Artificial intelligence, being at best misunderstood, often ignored, it logically generates mistrust, reservations, and even fears. Unfortunately, these fears generate attitudes and decisions that are contrary to general and individual interest. Journalists, eager for sensationalism, use artificial intelligence to feed us with catastrophist messages. And it's not new. You all remember HAL 9000. In 1968 already, in his masterpiece 2001: A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick showed us a computer that for the first time disobeyed a human being. Just for fun, let's see this sequence again.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
It is interesting to note that HAL uses the terms "I'm sorry" and "I'm afraid," two expressions of feelings normally reserved for human beings. The fears generated by this sequence are still present. Recently, an article in a very serious magazine predicting once again the control of humanity by robots was illustrated with this same and exact photo. Isaac Asimov, in the 50s and 60s, was the first to formalize a reflection on the future of humanity living in coexistence with robots. A proponent of intelligence and controlled adoption of progress and cyber advances, he wrote the 3 rules of robotics. Rule number 1, a robot cannot harm a human being. Rule number 2, a robot must obey orders given to it unless they are contrary to rule number 1. Rule number 3, a robot must protect its own existence unless it is contrary to the first 2 rules. It is interesting to put these rules in perspective with some of the projects that exist today. Indeed, humanity is at a decisive turning point in its evolution. We have a responsibility to make choices today that will decide whether our future will be closer to the idea we have of a paradise without traffic jams, without disease, and with controlled energies, or close to the idea we have of a hell as imagined in Terminator or The Matrix. While rationalization and efficiency are tempting, we must measure our decisions against morality and ethics. Indeed, technology allows us to push many limits even further, but we will always have to ask ourselves the question, is it because we can do it that we should do it? With this in mind, MIT created a web platform called the Moral Machine. It offers scenarios featuring an autonomous vehicle. In the situation of an unavoidable accident, the vehicle will have to choose the victim. In the scenario depicted here, the vehicle with no one inside must choose between an elderly lady crossing at the green light or a little girl crossing at the red light. The The scenarios are multiple and varied in terms of gender, age, and occupation. The platform has been online for over 2 years, and the first results have begun to be analyzed. They reveal obvious cultural differences. For example, the Western world tends to protect youth, when the East tends to protect old age associated with wisdom and experience. If you would like to participate in this study, do not hesitate, the platform is still online. Now is the time to conclude this course, which I hope entertained you and allowed you to better understand the world of artificial intelligence. Remember first that artificial intelligence has no other reasons to exist than the uncertainty of the future and the fate of humanity to decide in this uncertainty. In order to lift just a little the veil of this uncertainty, humans have invented probabilities. They allow to turn data into information and then into knowledge. Recognition of correlations and repetitive patterns that can be projected into the future allow us to calculate the probability of occurrence of an event and so to make an educated decision. This has created a succession of tools that range from descriptive statistics to diagnostic analysis and then predictive modeling. There are several kinds of models. Supervised models, for which we have a noun reference, and unsupervised models, often used for segmentation purpose. Supervised models can be a regression in order to predict a dimension, or can be a classification in order to predict the membership of a class or group. Remember that if humans want to free themselves from the responsibility of the decision, the modeler and the future user of the model must nevertheless make, during the modeling process, crucial decisions that are the compromise between precision and recall, and the compromise between underfitting and overfitting. The desire to create dynamic models, which evolve over time with the addition of new observations, has led to the principle of regularization, meaning the control of the parameters of the model by hyperparameters, and this led to the development of machine learning. There is no need to be afraid, quite the contrary. It is necessary to move forward with enthusiasm. But let us keep in mind our moral and ethical references, and remember that it is not just because we have the knowledge to do it that it means that we should do it without analyzing the consequences and impacts. Thank you for taking this introductory course in artificial intelligence with us. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let us know what you think. I wish you much success and satisfaction in your projects, and I hope to see you again soon. Au revoir.